You're listening to another episode of Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. This is a place we're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
Well, it's another week in the neighborhood. Busy week this week. I have Michel Umphrey here. We're going to talk about maybe a couple minutes about Hotworx, but we're going to talk mostly about the pediatric cancer charity she has going on. And it's this Saturday, correct?
It is.
Yeah, and it's a big deal, and it's poker. It's not golf. And so we got a lot of stuff going on this month. You know, a lot of charitable events. And you just told me that this is Pediatric Cancer Month, right?
It is. It is.
Is there a connection there?
There is a connection there. Most of us that have friends that have kids, or us personally, fortunately, me not personally, all have experienced pediatric cancer, either really close or distantly close. So this particular time around, not the first time, unfortunately won't be the last, was a direct relation to one of my Hotworx members here in Burleson, and working with her on a fundraiser specific to her nephew kind of spurred the idea for the fundraiser within the Hotworx concept.
Well, you know, from what I've learned of it, you like to have a charitable outlet. You've done similar things like this before. This isn't a new venture for you, right?
No. So as a business owner, it's very important to me to give back to the community. And we specifically came to Burleson with our concept because we wanted to be a part of a community, and we wanted to be able to interact with that community as both a business owner and as a supporter. And so we try very hard to stay within the geofence of our community, as in Burleson or Johnson County in general. This particular fundraiser goes outside of that scope, but we have monthly giving. We do community giving twice a year, and that we have what's called Christmas in July, and then we have giving boxes in December. And so what we do is we hide boxes in the studio, and any of our members that find those boxes, there is an amount that we have earmarked to donate to a charity of their choice.
How about that?
And so that's a way that we give back to the community, but not just to things that are important to us specifically, but to our members as well. So it's always fun, and it's a great way to learn about other areas of nonprofit and needs within your community as well. And then I always identify one particular entity within the Johnson County or Burleson area every year at the end of December to do what we call our significant contribution. And so last year it was to Fitability. I love what Fitability does.
I do too.
And then the year before that, it was to Re-Inspire.
Re-Inspire. Well, we're going to see them Thursday.
That one's particularly amazing to me. So we're looking for who we'll be donating to this year in December.
I'll have about 6 people here Thursday that will all be glad to get off your hands.
So I do have a few parameters to that. When our members ask for donations, I don't exclude anyone. When the studio itself makes that donation, I try to make it a non-secular organization.
A non-secular?
I mean, a secular organization. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just because fitness is universal.
Of course.
And so I try to keep that donation universal as well. It doesn't mean that we won't. It just means that I'm trying to make sure that we're giving somewhere that's going to benefit a broad scope without someone feeling left out.
Well, like Thursday, I've been mentioning this show. I'm going to have 5 and maybe even 6 people here, and then a couple of those outfits are faith-based, but they serve the community.
They do serve the community,
right.
And so that's where we do make those. I won't exclude, but so, and I don't want to pick on. So I got married in a Methodist church,
right?
And so that donation wouldn't be made to the United Methodist Church Youth Fund,
right,
per se, because that's very limiting in its scope of who it would benefit.
Yeah.
But Harvest House is faith-based, but it's community universal. And so we've actually partnered with Harvest House in the past where we fed an after-school program in December, because when children are not in school, they a lot of times do not get the nutrition because they're not in school to get that nutrition. And so this was somewhere that they didn't have the funds to handle what that particular school was asking for. And so we just took that donation that we had earmarked for that month plus a little bit and gave to. So I try to balance it. If I give to Burleson High School, I'm giving to Centennial High School. It's
Why? Don't give to Centennial. They get all the money. I'm an old BHS guy. I'm going to run through the first round of sponsors real quick because they really like doing these shows. You told me this yourself. You're being a sponsor. You like these shows. You put up with my Joe Biden rants just so you can do the nice things for the people. But anyway, so thank you to Daniel at CrossFit Burleson. Today is his birthday, by the way. So
happy birthday.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how old he is, but I know because I always think of him, he's an ex-student. I think of him as students. What are you doing here, Taylor? Okay. Housekeeping. Okay. Whatever. Anyway, thank you, Daniel, CrossFit Burleson, 317 Southwest Wilshire. Your two businesses kind of, go together in a way. He has a different type of workout. For what I've been told, people that go to heavy lifting at CrossFit come to your place to kind of let the muscles relax.
Recover, gain flexibility, different types of strength.
Yeah, so y'all complement each other very well. So it's 317 Southwest Wilshire. Check out the website for the protocols and plans and the memberships and also what kind of training they have. So you're good to go. Shandy Stogsdill, the Stogsdill group. You mentioned Re-Inspire. She's part of that. And she'll be here Thursday for that big Giving Day show, she and Cherise. And sorry. So the Stogsdill group will help you find that house you need. It's you're in the midst of trying to find a house in Burleson, right? And it's a chore, isn't it?
Oh, chore is a nice way to
put it. And so you need somebody like Shandy to help you through it all. But buying a house in the first place is always going to be kind of a ordeal, and she'll help you with that. But it's hard to find a good home in Burleson that's not exorbitant.
It's hard to find a good home anywhere these days.
Yeah, right. And the good thing about Shandy, she knows where these houses are going on sale even before they hit the market. So that's about the best way to do it these days. So give her a holler if you're looking to move into this area. Also, Our Place, I just came from Our Place, actually. I had breakfast there with a friend of mine, and it may lead to a monthly show at the school district. I'm hoping that's going to happen. That's a possibility. And that'd be good to talk about what's going on and how to access information and all that. I think it's going to work out. But I'll know more probably in about a week. But anyway, Our Place is the place I do business in, and it's everybody does business there. Sooner or later, I'm going to see an Otto sighting there. Otto is here, there, and everywhere. Every time I pick up Facebook, well, I'm in the Vatican today having an audience with the Pope, and blah 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 blah. Anyway, Our Place restaurant, you know where it is. On the highway in Alsbury. And Wild Cigar and Culture, they got a lot going on these days. Now, you told me you're a cigar smoker, right? Well, you've had a cigar before.
I enjoy a good cigar on occasion. I would not term myself a cigar smoker.
Well, I don't see you sitting around the house smoking cigars. It would be against all your health regimen ideas. But you might go there and have a smoke and a drink.
You might see me there on occasion, yes.
Yes, and it's a nice place to go, and it's got things going on, and it's quiet. You can do business. It's not like, a lot of hollering and hair pulling going on. So I like Wild. It has a area to do business in, like a little conference room if you ever wanted to have meetings there of sorts, client meetings, whatnot. Also, our friend Tiffany at Local Life magazine it came out today. I have it in the car. I was going to bring it today, but I saw it at Our Place and I picked up a copy, and it's great as always. It has all these different ads in it, but also a lot of good stories about this month about healthcare professionals in the area. She does a really great job with this magazine. 30,000 homes, over 110,000 people see it. I see it in several businesses like Our Place, so it gets around. Thank you, Tiffany. Also, somebody Michel and I both know. Well, I thought we were going to do this one last at this round. Just go to.
Are you running all of your ads?
No. Just put Melissa's, and then we'll come back to Hotworx. The Texas Farm Bureau. There we go. It's our friend. 682-804-0534 for Melissa Harmon at Texas Farm Bureau. If you're looking for insurance, change your insurance, whatever. We're going to talk about some of the insurance issues that cancer patients have to deal with. But Melissa will help you through that as well. I kind of joke about her. She's like Flo. She loves insurance. And I think, well, somebody's got to,
I never thought about it that way, but I'm going to have a hard time not seeing Flo when I see Melissa early tomorrow morning in the sauna.
Yeah, that's right. So she is I thought she was a customer of yours.
She is, and she and I actually have accountability to each other at 6:15 or 6:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Does that time even exist? Not for me. Anyway, so if you're looking for insurance, call Melissa. She'll fix you right up. And also now, Southern Gym with Gala. Open right. Today's Monday, right? No, something open on Mondays. But anyway, they're gearing up for the holiday season. Beginning.
Shop online.
What now?
You can shop online
For
on
Gala?
Mondays. Yeah.
You
can window shop on Mondays and go make your purchase on Tuesdays.
That's what I've heard. But if I were looking for jewelry and I'm looking for something from Robin, something like that, I'm going to go and talk to an expert like Gala.
Absolutely.
Because she can help you out. I mean, if I knew jewelry and diamonds or whatever, maybe, but I don't know anything about diamonds. And so she's not just a jewel dealer, but she also has all the certifications, and she can tell you what you want. And they do the repairs. If you got grandma's ring as a gift or whatever, you can get it resized or repaired or whatever else. And it's really nice. And they're moving to the bottom floor of that Windmiller building very, very soon. Poor Gala, though. She's, all this stuff that goes with construction. You had to deal with that in your second store, right, in Coppell.
That makes buying a house a little bit more enjoyable than building a business.
Right. That second one in Coppell took you a while, right?
So we're in Irving, yes.
Irving.
Las Colinas.
Oh, I thought you was, see, here I'm messing up here.
That's okay.
But you primarily promote on this show anyway, the Burleson one on 731.
Yes, absolutely.
So, okay. And so also another B&I friend of ours, Danette Juster, with her interior design business, Pinnacle Concepts, at 303-324-9906. She does a little commercial real estate as well, but she's really trying to emphasize this interior design here on this show because she wants to expand that. She did this in Colorado, and she's bringing her business here, and she's I could tell that she's a very creative person, and she's going to be on the show at the end of this month, I believe the 29th, and we're going to hopefully see some of her designs there. So we'll see what happens. 303-324-9906. And I think this is you. Okay,
this
good.
Is me.
So just briefly tell us a little bit about Hotworx, and then we'll jump into the cancer thing.
So Hotworx is an infrared fitness studio. We are a 24/7 member access facility, which means that once you become a member, you receive an app that allows you to enter into the studio. And then you also have an app that allows you to do your booking. You are actually working out inside of one of our 7 saunas, depending on the workout that you are choosing that time or that day. You have unlimited access to those sessions. They are literally running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have 3 workouts that we refer to as our HIIT, high intensity interval training. Now, typically people are like, oh, I can't do HIIT. I can't do the impact. I can't do that. Hotworx is a non-impact facility as well. So that makes us uniquely unique in that we are 24/7, we're unlimited, and we're also non-impact but highly effective because you're working out in 120 to 125 degrees. What infrared does for you from your health and wellness standpoint that then accentuates your fitness is that we decrease inflammation. We create active muscle recovery at the time that you are actually doing the workouts. And we're incredibly efficient because we're heating you at the muscle level instead of at the surface of your skin. So the sweat that we create is an internal sweat. And in that, you are getting exceedingly more detox out of that sweat than you are a traditional sweat. So when you get an infrared sweat going on, you're getting about 5 to 7 times the detox that you get in a traditional workout. Inflammation is the cornerstone of disease. And
yes,
so,
we were talking about that before the show.
We were. And so geriatrics is my specialty. So it's a little odd that I have a pediatric charity focus. But I've always said that pediatrics and geriatrics are very similar in a lot of ways. And it's true here as well. Disease is particularly damaging in kids and in older adults. And so if you can control inflammation as a younger, older, middle age into old age adult, those diseases and those issues that you experience with age don't disappear, but they are significantly decreased. It's just like taking care of a car or a home. So I'm in the process of purchasing a home. The home that I have identified was built in 1965. It would not be in good shape if it hadn't been adequately maintained. It's 57 years old. It's in great shape because it's been well maintained. It's the same thing with a body. If you will maintain a body is designed to last a long time. We just unfortunately, as a collective whole, are not doing a very good job of treating our bodies well and maintaining our bodies.
Well, you got that jug of water there. It's enough for all of us,
So it's just enough for me.
Yeah, it's 100 ounces, right?
It's 100 ounces.
And so that'll take care of you for a week, right?
That'll take care of me for most of today.
Most of the day. I mean, 100 ounces is a lot of water. I know this older folks we wouldn't leave the bathroom, but if we drank 100 ounces a day. But I try to get in at least 6 or 8 ounces a day. Anyway, no, that's not
The
good.
look on her face.
Yeah, no, the look on her face. I don't know if you can see. She's like, what?
My eyeballs just popped out of my head. We'll have a hydration conversation later,
No,
Brad.
that's a joke. Oh, no. Believe me, Robin, my wife, has given me plenty. So, no, she makes me drink at least, 4 to 5 bottles of water a day, and she'd rather me do more. And anyway, it's a big deal. I know that to keep hydrated and whatnot. But anyway, the poker tournament, All In. It's going to be this Saturday, correct?
It is.
Tell us all about it.
Okay, so full reveal. I know nothing about poker. Honestly, I know absolutely nothing about poker other than you deal cards.
Are you hustling us
you
right
have
now?
chips. No, but I'm excited to say I'm going on Wednesday night to 52. I forgot what I was saying.
Right. Well,
5220
right.
social. It's
Right.
on my head. I can't see it. 5220 social. And that stands for 52 cards, 20 hours a day. That's what 5220 stands for.
Whoa, 52 cards, 20 hours a day.
20 hours a day. I don't know if they're open 20 hours a day or if they just like the idea of
Playing cards
20 hours a day. I don't know. That's not enough sleep, but we'll talk about that later. So this was a partnership that came from sometimes random thoughts pop into my brain at odd times. And so September is Pediatric Cancer Month. Last year, we hosted Torch Pediatric Cancer in the studio itself, and you basically bought time in the sauna, and that money that you used to purchase your time in the sauna was donated 100% to cooks. It didn't start out that way. So where all of this came from was in February of 2020, one of my closest, dearest friends was diagnosed with glioblastoma, which is a particularly ugly form of brain cancer. It's never a good diagnosis. It was a particularly horrid diagnosis in the midst of COVID, quarantine. Getting treatment was insanely difficult. It's brain cancer. It affects your cognitive abilities. And his wife, who's one of my closest friends, a lot of times wasn't allowed into the appointment with him because of quarantine issues. So imagine going for treatment when you're not cognitively intact and they're not allowing your significant other to be in the room with you because of quarantine protocols.
Right.
That just adds, stress on top of stress. So I was mad about the diagnosis because this individual brought such joy to a room and to a group anytime he entered, and to have that joy taken so early was infuriating. I could use lots of other words, but they're not appropriate for the radio.
Oh, it's quite all right.
So that being said, I'll try to keep my zen here. In the midst of doing this and going through it remotely with them, and trust me, I wasn't really going through it, so to speak. They were the only ones going through it. But getting those phone calls, that frustration, that angst, that just anger, legitimate anger about how things were happening, it makes you so mad. And I've never felt more helpless. And I have always heard that the people around someone with the diagnosis always feel the most helpless. The person with the diagnosis is an active battle where the people around just don't feel like they can get anything accomplished that's beneficial. And that's actually not true. There's a lot you can do to help people. Just to listen sometimes is tremendously beneficial. So while that was going on, I had a member that, you get closer to some members than others. It's just like in any group, and it's not because they're better or greater or anything else. It's just sometimes that relationship develops. And this particular member is one of those members, and she has a nephew that was battling neuroblastoma at Cook's at the same time. And so she was doing a walk. And my first marathon that I ever ran was for Team in Training, which is for the Leukemia Society. And when I started running for Team in Training, I wanted to run for someone that would get me out of bed. And oddly enough, one of my daughter's preschool friends' mom's nephew had leukemia at the time. And so I ran for him because what I thought was, I have a choice whether I go and put that time in on the street. He doesn't have a choice whether he goes to that appointment or that chemo. And so that's how I ended up running that marathon for him. And so I've always had this kind of tie. And I'm one of those people that when I get mad, I need to do something about it. And it typically is a physical activity because that's how I release stress and energy. You don't have to be physical to do that. You can be very cerebral and get that done as well. It's just my modality of release. So that being said, pediatric cancer just kind of became that thing that it ignites a flame within me. It's wrong. And there's no money in kids. And I hate, that doesn't sound very nice to say. But from a research standpoint, if there isn't money tied to it, the research doesn't happen as quickly because funding is an issue. And that's the cold, hard reality of life. And so that's why when you do specific fundraisers that benefit pediatric research, it's really important to those scientists that are doing that research because it's funding they don't have to fight for and battle for. It's a gift. And so when we started last year, we were going to donate part of our proceeds to Head for the Cure, which is specific to glioblastoma, and part of our proceeds to actually the Nephews campaign last year. In the end, we donated all of the proceeds to the Nephews campaign because my friends that were battling the glioblastoma, and ultimately he lost that battle in April of 2021, their son had spent 3 weeks at Cook's Children's Hospital when he was 6. He had Guillain-Barré, which is a very odd autoimmune that actually paralyzes you from the feet up. And fortunately, they were able to treat it, and he's a perfectly healthy adult now. But she was like, there's so many good things that Cook does in the community. Just go ahead and contribute it all to Cook. And so it just kind of became this thing that next year when we do it, we'll just do it for Cook. And then, fate enters, and my daughter, who is a pediatric ICU nurse, she's a Gamecock. She graduated from the University of South Carolina. It's the original USC, by the way. They were a state before that state was a state.
Yes.
So that being said, sorry, just had to throw a little shade there. That being said, she decided she wanted to come home to Texas, which was great. And where did she land? She landed at Cook's. And what floor did she land on? The hemo-oncology floor at Cook. So sometimes the stars just align and you're in the right place doing the right thing. And that's why we're doing this. So it's not going to a specific person this year. It's going strictly to Cook, and it's earmarked for pediatric cancer research.
Well, it's interesting that, your daughter works in there. I'm sure she has given you a lot of insight what she's dealing with as a nurse. A lot of stories that probably are hard to deal with sometimes, I'd imagine.
So it's interesting, as a nurse, you can't really talk about anyone because of HIPAA.
Right.
But, I am a sponge when it comes to health and disease, and because health is actually the absence of disease. So you have to understand disease to be able to understand health. And so, as she's going through her oncology training and her hemo, I'm like, so, what are the outcomes for this? And what is da-da-da-da? So yes, there is a lot of conversation in and around, how things are treated, but not who is treated, so to speak, just because privacy is such a very big thing there. And we even had to check to make sure this wouldn't be a conflict of interest for her on the floor.
Really?
Yes. And so fortunately it's not, because it's not specific to any one individual. And that's very important as a nurse. It's kind of like being a teacher. You can't play favorites. You've got to treat everybody.
I treated everybody exactly the same.
So
somebody's going to comment on that, I bet.
But there are those things you have to think about. So how did we come about poker? Because
I was going to ask you that.
It jumped into my mind one day. I'm like, So Mike, who owns 5220 Social, he just makes me laugh, which if anybody that knows Mike probably thinks I have lost my mind because he's a fairly stoic individual. But there's something about Mike that really intrigues me and makes me laugh. He's like an onion. He doesn't stink, but he has lots and lots of layers. And I don't remember, we met at some meeting somewhere, something, I don't remember, some networking thing. And I'm like, oh, tell me more about what you're doing. He's like, you should come play. And I'm like, oh, we should do hot poker. We should play poker in a sauna. I've got a fundraiser coming up. Let's do it in a sauna. And his first thought was, what?
Yeah.
Why? And so we can't. because those poker tables are kind of big and you can't put them in a sauna. And I really wasn't going to have you sweat in the sauna itself, but I thought it would be kind of a cool way to let people come into the sauna in a non-intimidating factor. So that conversation and kind of silliness came into doing this at his poker facility in Joshua, Texas. And so what we decided is like, oh, we could do torch pediatric cancer with hot poker. And so it's not a golf tournament. I'm not a golfer. I'm a tennis player. And I never get to participate in golf tournaments because I'm not a golfer. And so this was something I'm like, it's different. And you're not competing with other golf tournaments. It's something that's just different. And people that like to play poker will play poker for any reason. So why not go ahead and benefit pediatric cancer at the same time? And so it's that way of being involved in the community, helping other small businesses promote their businesses. We have lots of raffle baskets that are being donated at the time. So the way this tournament is going to work, and again, I know nothing about poker, so if I misspeak, please forgive me. The tournament works this way. It's a show up and sign up. Makes me nervous as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. I like lists and knowing when people are coming and what to expect, but I have been assured this is the best way to do a poker tournament. So it's a show up, sign up. That means that you don't have to pre-sign up. You're just going to show up day of the tournament. The tournament starts at 1. We're going to be serving lunch at 11:15. That is being provided by Old South Pancake House.
That's nice.
And so that being said, you show up, you get your food, you pay your entry fee of $25, which my understanding is also your initial buy-in. So that is 100% donated to the cause, your entry fee of $25. And then it's unlimited buy-ins until the first break. So what that means is you can buy back in as many times as you lose your money until they break for the first time. And then after that, I think you can buy in again, but then it's not unlimited after that. That's where I get really sketchy on all of the details. That's why we have Mike and his crew running that part of things. So when you get there that day, you're going to pay your $25 entry fee. You're going to get your buy-ins. So you're probably going to pay more than $25 because you're going to want to do more than a $25 buy-in. You're going to do that. You're going to eat your lunch. You're going to sit down at 1 o'clock and you're going to start playing poker. And then at that first break, those that don't want to do that next buy-in are done. They can go, or they can drop their tickets that they purchase into any of the raffle baskets that we have. Now, one buy-in or one entry fee gets you a raffle ticket. And then any more raffle tickets you want to buy after that, you can purchase there. And then you drop your tickets into those baskets you're interested in. And then we will draw for the raffle basket winners throughout the day. And we'll do that. We won't do them all at once. We'll do a couple and you don't need to be present to win. So if you didn't win and you didn't do your next buy-in after the break, it doesn't mean that you can't win a raffle item.
Well, this, normally in a typical poker game, you're using chips and that represent money and all this stuff, but you're getting raffle tickets as the, okay, tell me then.
No, you're getting chips. So your buy-in gives you chips. And I don't understand how they value all that. That's where I don't know. I can count to 12 and I can tell you how to build a healthy body.
Yeah. Okay.
Can't tell you anything about poker. Okay. And that's a personal training joke that I can count to 12. Usually you don't do more than 12 reps. So we can only count to 12.
I guess my point is you're not going to have winners that are going to have more money than, the money's going to charity. It's not going to.
No, you will have winners. So you will have winners. And we're asking those winners to donate 50% of their winnings to the charity. So that's how this tournament works.
Now I get it. Okay. So there's a chance you could do good and do well at the same time.
Yes. So it's a win-win, literally, for whoever wins. It's a win for pediatric cancer research. It's a win for the person that walks away with a pot of money. And it's just a different way to have fun and engage other people. Y'all know me. I'm not all about walking in a straight line. I like a little zig and a little zag. I like a collective opportunity. I like bringing lots of people into all kinds of different things. And this is just another way to introduce people to a concept. I originally kind of thought, let's do it with people that have never played poker before. That doesn't work very well.
No, not really. But no, it's interesting because, a lot of people think, well, I'm going to go and do a nice thing, but they, you might make a little folding money as well.
Absolutely.
You don't get that. There's not many charitable opportunities that provide that. I could tell you.
No,
that's interesting. But anyway, so where exactly is this place? You've been mentioning Joshua, but for the listening audience, where is it?
Okay, so everybody makes fun of my directions, but if you head straight down Wilshire towards Joshua, there is World Gym on your right, and there's the church on your left as you're going into Joshua with the big white steeple.
Yeah, it's a Baptist church. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know the name of it. And after that, there's a little strip center where Joshua Nutrition is, and 5220 is right next door to Joshua Nutrition, which is just before you get to the compound pharmacy.
Okay, yeah, I know exactly where that is. Then there's a taco place right near it too, a drive-through taco place that a former student's family owns. But anyway, and thank you, Brad. He's put it up there for us.
Oh, thanks, Brad.
And so it's it's not very far at all. It's very convenient.
Very convenient.
Is this where Camille does some of their stuff?
It is.
Yes. Is that helped you connect to that?
Yes, there was. Okay, so Camille and I are dangerous in a very good way.
Of course.
So maybe bad eventually. We just haven't ever had a chance to get there. But so yes, she's the one that was like, you need to come play. You need to come play. Okay, so full reveal. I can be hesitant to do something if I don't think I'm going to be good at it from the beginning, right? And I don't know. Cards are just not my thing. I didn't grow up playing cards, and so that's very intimidating. And gamblers are intimidating to me because if you've ever been to like a craps table, they have all kinds of weird voodoo mojo stuff that they believe in. And if you mess up the mojo, you are in trouble. So I tend to kind of just keep my distance because I don't want to be the one that brings any bad mojo anywhere. But she's like, come try it out. And so I went, it's so clean. It's so clean. Like you think, okay, so I'm sorry, forgive me, but you say poker and I think of the dog poster.
Right. And they're all smoking, cigarettes and
everybody's
hacking
smoking and they're
drinking beer. Yeah,
yes,
whatever.
it doesn't look like somewhere I really want to hang out. And you walk in here and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
I've
like
heard
it's
that before,
pristine.
actually.
And it is somewhere that you really truly enjoy hanging out. And there's a lot of intellect behind poker. There's a lot of strategy behind poker. There's a lot of math behind poker. And so the more you get to know it, there's that onion again. There are all these layers that it is not a superficial undertaking. You study it. There's a whole language and terminology that you have to learn. It's fascinating. It's really fascinating. And so I'm excited to bring all of this together. And so does Hotworx have anything to do with poker? No, not at all. In fact, in poker, you don't want to sweat. In Hotworx, we really want to see you sweat, right? So they kind of don't go. But that's the beauty of things too, is what doesn't work together sometimes actually works brilliantly together. And so how this works brilliantly together is we all met through a networking group. And while we have absolutely nothing to do with each other's business, we have the ability to connect dots. And this is a big connection for us.
It's like our BNI friends.
Yes,
I mean,
it's something, and that's where Mike and I met. It was at BNI, and then we continued to run into each other in other places. And he has a business that benefits another friend of mine's business. And so Camille and I set up a business meeting between those two one day. And so that's where I learned that, Mike's an onion and he has lots of layers. And that was kind of fascinating so it's just kind of fun to be able to share and I love people. I enjoy learning about people. And so it's fun to be able to bring all of these dots together and make a connection that benefits us in a broadcast. So those kids that are undergoing treatment at Cook will never know who we are. And it doesn't matter that they do. They just know that somebody took the time to do something that benefited them. And guess what? It may not benefit them, but it may benefit one of my grandchildren one day. And so that's the incredible thing about research is sometimes what you're funding now doesn't do anything. But what they learn in this round that you funded has a huge impact later on.
What type of poker you be playing? There's several different types.
Texas Hold'em. So they're not going to have like blackjack or others. It's Texas Hold'em. It's just straight up Texas Hold'em.
Okay. And, so that's good. And, again, I was too much of a Baptist to play cards. Well, I'd like to tell my mother that in case she's listening. But no, we played cards a lot in college and all this other stuff. We always played Texas Hold'em and other kind of stuff. So the number, if you're interested in this, I hope you are, guys. It's 817-862-7590. That's 817-862-7590.
That's the studio number.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought that looked familiar. Now, you mentioned something about memberships being connected to this in this month. Is that correct? So
the studio is also, the poker tournament, Hotworx is my platform to be able to get that information out, but it's more of a personal campaign for me. The studio is also donating directly to pediatric cancer research for Cook this month as well. So if you join as a Hotworx member in September. When you join, you pay prorated dues. Those prorated dues will be donated 100% in full to Cook's Pediatric Cancer Research for the month of September.
That's great. I know your business is growing. You tell us about it at our Wednesday meetings, which, by the way, we don't have one this Wednesday. Well, I know. When I got the message,
a lot going on this week.
Yeah, I know. I said, first thing I thought actually was when I have a meeting this week, the first thing I thought was, well, Michelle will be happy because she's probably running 110 miles an hour because that's the way you are. You come running into the meetings and like, let's make this quick. I got things going on, particularly when you're building that second studio. You're about to pull your hair out. But anyway, you handled it great. Anyway, back to the poker. The poker, I think that's a pretty interesting fundraiser, and I've heard good things about this particular outfit. I mean, our friend Camille works there, and she's not going to be involved in some sleazy joint, or something like that. And I don't think Joshua Burleson would care to have such a place. So I'm really glad to have this kind of opportunity for y'all. As far as cooks and whatnot, are they helping sponsor this, or are they just going to be surprised when you send them a check?
This one, they are not. So last year, they were very involved in the sponsorship, and I loved that, but it creates limitations, right? You have to play within the guidelines of, and so this year we elected to just do it as a fundraiser that we are just taking a check to them. There are no parameters around it. So we don't need to use their logo. We're not supporting something specific. We are just giving, and we're earmarking that giving, kind of like if you tithe at church and you can say, oh, I want it to go to the general fund or the youth fund. We can tag that and say, we want it to go here. And so that's what we've done this year, is doing it. And you also have to be careful because you never know. So I can't overcome someone's perception, right? And so, my perception of poker is a bunch of dogs sitting around a table smoking cigarettes, not something that looks like it's very healthy. And so it was just a good way for us to be able to do something without having to curtail, kind of, so to speak, how we do it.
All right.
So this will just literally be, and I made Mike promise that he will come with me to make this donation, because this wouldn't be happening without him. He is donating his facility on a Saturday and his dealers to do this. Now, dealers are paid through buy-ins and tips. I don't know. I understand all of that. But he's giving up his facility on a Saturday specific to this. So that's huge. That's a huge, huge give.
Right.
And so for that, he needs to have a little FaceTime when we get to give that check to Cook.
Sure. I wish he was here. I didn't realize his
So
role in
I
this.
would have asked him to be here, but he sleeps kind of late because he works kind of late.
I bet he does.
So I didn't want to roll him out of bed too early. And Mike is a man of few words. So I'll do the talking this time, and he just has to show up and get his picture taken.
Okay. Well, that sounds great. And then, so how long is this going to last? How is it?
I don't
couple
know.
Hours? All hours?
What I have heard is poker tournaments can go really long.
I bet they can. These poker players that I've met, and I don't know a bunch of them certainly, but they're very competitive, and they don't want to leave the table until they feel like they've gotten every dollar.
Right. So we have, again, we said that lunch is being provided by Old South at 11:15. And then I'm working on having some snacks during one of those other breaks just so that they can have substance. You can't eat at the table. They're very clean tables. So you will have eating taking place not at the table itself. So we'll have follow-up snacks for those that have made it through those final break rounds, whatever it's called. But we have lots of baskets that are coming. And so I wanted to, several of them are but Southern Gym is donating a raffle basket. The Center for ASD donated a raffle basket that's a little bit more specific to little boys. It's very, very cute. K&A Automotive have donated a whiskey basket and a vodka basket. I'm very curious to see that.
Who did this now?
K&A, A&K Automotive. They are, he is one of Mike's regular players, and his wife is one of my original members. So that was just kind of a perfect little combination. Well. Yes, absolutely. I'm trying to remember, I have a golf basket coming. I haven't finalized all the details of the golf basket just yet. and I should have my list in front of me. Oh, Buff City Soap. They're not open yet, but they're donating a basket. I'm really excited about that.
Where are they going to be?
Buff City Soap's going to be right next to Nothing But Cakes and Target. And they're all natural products. That's right up my alley. I'm all about holistic. I don't want any chemicals or additives in my stuff. So I'm super excited about this store opening, and they will be donating as well. So we're really excited about having them. Beagley's Painting is donating $1,000 credit towards a job, which is huge. If you've ever gotten a paint estimate, that is tremendous. And we have more coming in. We have a cabin donated for the weekend at Eagle Mountain Lake. I should have written all of this down. I'm sorry. I was literally on top of a sauna all morning, so I didn't do my preparation like I normally do.
Well, I'm just going to jump in here. Brad Griffin wrote an article on oneburleson.com about what you're doing. So if you want to see more of this, Brad's article probably can help fill in some of the things that we may have omitted. So thank you, Brad, for being a good citizen and supporter of these things. Certainly. Oops, I hit the wrong button. I hate dealing with Facebook. I really do. Anyway, but I just thank you, Brad, for that. But so check out his article if you want to know more. But it's interesting that some of our BNI friends, not interesting, it's appropriate. Our BNI friends are getting on board with all this. It didn't surprise me a bit, because that's been a pretty good community for me. I know.
It's been a huge community for me. My entire house purchasing process has gone straight through BNI.
Yeah.
So that part has been, and that's the beauty of networking, is you never know who you're going to meet today that you can benefit or who will benefit you later on. And I love that. I love how we may not have anything to do with each other from a business standpoint, but as a community, we interact with each other and help each other. And that's something that's very special about Burleson. Even the economic development group here in Burleson with the city is much more involved than a lot of places are. I didn't even know there was an economic development group when I lived in another city. So it's all about how you interact and engage with the community and those around you. And you're the one that has control over that. You can either choose to be very involved or limitedly involved. And as a small business owner, sometimes that's not your choice. It's dictated. So, if you come in with your hair on fire because something crazy is going on in your business, you do have to take care of that because that is what your livelihood is. And so it doesn't mean that you don't care about other things. It just means that it is your chronic conditions, so to speak. It's going to dictate your calendar.
Well, knowing how much you enjoy people and networking, have you joined the Chamber of Commerce?
Well, that was the first thing I did. We signed a lease and I joined the Chamber of Commerce. Like it happened just like that. Boom, boom. So I've been a member of the Chamber of Commerce since.
Well, Gabrina will be glad to hear that. She comes the first Monday of the month, and I joined this month for a little podcast I have here. And boy, I got all sorts of stuff coming in already. It's already working for me. Yeah. So I just know you enjoy these kind of networking groups. This is probably better for your poker because you could probably go around the tables and be the hostess and whatnot, and instead of a golf tournament, which does good things. I mean, we had that ASD golf tournament last week or 2 weeks ago, and it really worked well for them. But I just think this is a different type of fundraiser. You might get some pretty good interest. Do you think you might do this on an annual basis?
I do. I think it would be a fun thing to do for sure. And golf tournaments, if you've never been a part of putting on a golf tournament, it is very volunteer intensive. You have to have a lot of volunteers to be able to do this. And it takes a sizable amount of money to be able to put on a golf tournament. So that being said, I am not that type of business. I don't have those resources available to me. So this is something that I have the opportunity to share my desire with other people that can come in and do something they love and feel good about having played poker that day. And it doesn't take a lot of resources from my business or from Mike's business to be able to make that happen. So I love that. And, when I approached him about it, he's like, oh yeah, we've done this before. And I mean, he pulled up the charity aspect of how you do this in a heartbeat. He's been amazing, amazing. And so absolutely, this is our first one. So we donated $1,500 last year just through the studio. If we could donate 2,500 to 3,000 this year. That would be amazing. We can accommodate up to 90 people at this tournament. And of course, the more people we have playing in the tournament, the greater our ability to donate is. So if you don't have anything going on Saturday and you're a halfway decent poker player, then please, by all means, come out, have a little lunch on Old South and do your $25 entry fee and at least play the first round. Throw your raffle ticket in a raffle item and you may win that, or you may win big. We don't know. At the end of the day, though, pediatric cancer research wins. And that's a win for all of us.
I can imagine not just individuals, but groups of friends coming together and taking a table.
Yes. In fact, I have a couple of people that are like, oh, I'm going to get my son-in-law and da-da-da-da. So yes, bring your friends. And hey, y'all, poker is not exclusive to men.
Yes.
There are plenty of women that play poker. I am not one of them. I'm learning.
Yeah.
So, I mean, one of these days I'm going to be that, Wild Cigar donated. We have a raffle basket from Wild Cigar. So, I can't smoke my cigar at 5220. It doesn't happen there. It's a clean, non-smoking
it's
facility.
all non-smoking.
Yes. But that doesn't mean I can't go celebrate my wins.
There you go.
At Wild Cigar with a really good bourbon and a cigar after I've played poker.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Now
know.
you're talking. I'm sure
my
you'd love to
mom
hear it.
probably does not love that statement, but
well,
she's lived with me a long time. She knows.
She'll get over it.
There's a little bit of a rebel in me.
Yes. Oh, I can see that too. I'm sure your teachers loved you. But, we're going to have to get close on time. I got class this afternoon, doggone it. I'm still teaching at Hill. So give us all the details that they need to know to be able to participate in this tournament. Where to go, what to be, what time, how to dress, whatever.
Dress comfortable.
Yeah.
If you have a booty pad, I guess you should wear a booty pad because you sit most of the time. So if you like a squishy pillow or something, bring that for you. Dress comfortable. Come ready to play. Plan to be in there for the long time. So we are at 3509 Southwest Wilshire Boulevard, number 102. If you've gotten to the compound pharmacy, you went too far, make a U-turn, and then we'll be on your right instead of on your left, depending on which direction you're coming from.
Right.
Tournament starts at 1. You may be there as early as 11:15, but you can come anytime between 11:15 and let's say 12:45 to get your entry fee in and your seat at the table. We can only accommodate up to 90 people. I would love to have to turn people away because we had such a great turnout.
Or have a waiting list or something like that, or maybe
absolutely
hanging around.
Remember, it's a show up and sign up, so you don't pre-sign up. You just show up day of and play. And think of it this way. Even if you overcome pediatric cancer, it follows you for the rest of your life in one form or fashion or multiple forms and fashion. So come play poker with us and let's deal pediatric cancer a bad hand by playing.
I like that.
We're torturing pediatric cancer with a hot poker. I mean, what's not to like about that?
It's pretty funny. I like that. I like that little clever line there.
If you can't have fun, then why do it?
Right.
So let's have fun and let's do good.
Well, I'll bring this up again on Thursday because
Thank you.
like I have all the other nonprofits coming in and the ones that aren't there, we're going to say here.
I think we
here's
should have a
opportunities.
nonprofit table.
Well, maybe so. If I was there, there'd definitely be a nonprofit table. Because I'm terrible at cards.
I didn't mean that nonprofit, Brad.
Okay, I know, but I'm pretty poor at poker. Of course, they all say that. Oh, I know nothing about poker, and then they best yet cards. Anyway, so thank you to the sponsors for making this possible. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk about my latest trip to the grocery store. That's always going to be a fun topic. And then Thursday, of course, a very special show. So hope to see you all then. And we'll be bringing this up again on the shows. And remember, poker this Saturday.
Deal yourself in.